Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm Nick, and I thought I would just give my thoughts and little review on the new movie Prey, the new Predator movie that just released, Hulu original, or if you're like me in Canada or other parts of the world, we got it on Disney Plus as a Stars original. And let me tell you, what a fantastic prequel you could call it, I guess. Great entry in the franchise, guys. Like on the higher end of the franchise ranking scale. I just had a blast with it. It was a breath of fresh air. Uh, the last one we got from 2018 was so shitty that I'm happy that they got the franchise back on track with this one. Story's pretty straightforward, but it's very focused and well written. We're back, instead of the jungle, we get the woods here, and we get these Native Americans, the Comanche tribe. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. I'm not sure how to say that. But they are these great hunters in that, and are mainly Naru. She wants to be a great hunter as well, but no one believes in her because she's female, and she's kind of trying to break that gender barrier there. She is really good at with medicine and stuff like that as well, but she wants to prove that she's a good hunter as well, and that she can hunt animals that are hunting her back, like lions or bears and shit like that. And obviously, you throw the predator in there, and it makes a real interesting watch where she's trying to track him and stuff, and trying to figure out what he is, and it just ends in an epic battle between the two. Just real great all around. I love her character. We really get to spend a lot of time with her, so we get to see her develop throughout the story. Um, the first half really deals with her character really strongly. Well, the whole film, but some people call it a slow burn, but really they're just taking their time to develop her character, which I loved. It really made other things hit harder. I don't want to get in too many spoiled territory, but I will be probably spoiling some things for some people. So if you don't want anything spoiled, just know that I completely recommend this movie and go check it out for yourselves. But I will get into a little bit more details here. So getting into the predator himself, the creature, he was a real badass in this. He's brutal as hell, unforgiving, just slaughtering everybody like really crazy. Like there's pretty good gore in here. His look is a little different. Instead of a helmet that goes over his whole face, it only goes over like his eyes and that, and his mouth is kind of still sticking out, which was a little different. But I like different, you know. I much prefer, I think, the original look myself, but it was cool to see something different. Um, and he doesn't have his shoulder missile. It's kind of like built into his helmet this time, into his skull helmet, his face shield. And it's like auto aim on it, where it's almost like heat seeking or whatever. And it still makes the triangle, but each corner shoots like a separate arrow, which I thought was really cool. I was like, oh, changing it up, because you see the triangle and then they can change it around. Like, very cool. He doesn't have any like armor in this, but he has like on his wrist he can use a shield. So there's times where I'm like, damn, he's a little overpowered for not having any armor. Like he can take a lot of damage before the film's done. Like it's crazy surprising. But think about it, all the films kind of had that, especially part two, like when he gets his arm chopped off and keeps going for a long time. So I kind of understand when stuff like that happens in here. But his weapons are probably more intense than I've ever seen. He has his net back, but it's even cooler. It, like goes around stuff and tightens it up. I don't know. It just looks more advanced than the other films, which is weird because this is set in the 1700s. But yeah, he has his spear. He has all his crazy shit. Um, More high tech than I thought he was going to be, but they still managed to make the characters, like it still seems like a more fair fight. I thought it might be a little unmatched here because an alien with all this technology against this tribe from the 1700s. But no, they made it pretty well. They got to use their wits and their skills and their hunting skills in that to defeat him, which is really cool. The setting, love the setting, it being in the woods. Like I said, the jungle in the first movie, we got the woods in this one. A lot of the other settings, I do like LA in part two, but a lot of the other settings didn't really do it for me in the franchise. Again, I kind of like Alien vs Predator 2, where they have the pyramid underground or temple or whatever. But the woods is where it's at. That's where it should be in these type of environments, and it looks so good. Cinematography looks beautiful. The camera work looks really great, especially in the action scenes. You can see everything that's going on. It's not a bunch of quick cuts or whatever, and it's choreographed really well. The only thing about that is the CGI in certain aspects does get in the way of the film, but it's unfortunate, but it had to be done, I guess, with like the bear and the lion, especially. Like when you start to see the animals and the wolf, you're like, okay, that doesn't look that great, but not bad for a straight to video movie, like straight to streaming, right? It didn't go to theaters, which is unfortunate. Really wish it did. But the dog, I don't know if that was CGI or not. There's times where I'm like, yeah, that's CGI because it looks like he's smiling or something. Naru's dog. But then at other times I'm like, no, that actually looks real. So good job if that was CGI because that kind of tricked me, and that's what it should be doing. But the other animals didn't trick me at all. It was not the best CGI, I'll say that. It wasn't enough to ruin the movie or anything because they're only small parts, but yeah. And there's times where the alien himself is CGI, but it's not all the time. I'm glad that they did use a person in a suit for a lot of the movie because like 2018 movie when you get the giant predator always CGI, it's like it looks so terrible to me. But I'm glad that there was like a balance here. And I really like the score in this one. I hear a lot of people saying that it reminds them of the last of the Mohicans or whatever. I don't really know that song that well, so I can't really give my opinion on that. But I really did like it. It had that tribal vibe with the drumming going on, and the little bit of violin noises was really cool added onto that. It's a good companion score to like the first film. There's some things that are similar about them, but they're completely different at the same time. And I just really dug the score. We get it a few times throughout the movie, the main theme, but when the credits start rolling, that's where we get to hear it again for a longer period of time, and that's where I really enjoyed it. I just think that if you're a Predator fan, you'll probably dig this movie. Maybe you won't like it as much as I do because I love it, but I'm sure you're still gonna dig it. I think the lowest score I seen out of like my friends in the online community is like an 8 out of 10, like 4 stars. It's either 4 stars, 4.5, or 5. That's all I'm seeing. I'm like, that is awesome. Maybe this next movie that they make will go back to theaters if they keep up with this great writing and this style of film. Don't go back to the shit dumpster fire we had with the 2018 film because that was terrible. There's no direction at all in that film, or in the studio all messed up. There's so many problems with that. But this one, I have a few flaws with it, but they're so small, like that CGI and that. It's just more nitpicking. I just really enjoyed this, and I give it like a 9, in between a 9 and a 9.5 out of 10 myself. I absolutely loved it. I recommend it to any Predator fan, and just the casual mainstream audience I think will dig this as well. Maybe not as high as us, but I think they'll still give it a pass because it's really well made and shot. Great acting as well, and I gotta check out the Comanche version because or Comanche, I don't know how to say those words, but there's a version where they dubbed it all in their language, so that'll be really interesting to watch too. I've already seen this twice in English, and I had an even bigger blast with it the second time. There's a few moments I'm like, oh shit, like when he's fighting the wolf and like randomly moving up the food chain, seeing what's more of a challenge to him to hunt. I thought that was just a whole lot of fun. And yeah, I just had a blast with this film from start to finish. I don't find it drags at all. Got great pacing, and you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't already. But what are you doing listening to me talk about it? You should be already out there watching it. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching and listening to my thoughts on the new Prey. I'll have a ranking of all the Predator movies coming out very soon, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching, guys.